You are listening to The Rip Griffin Show. Make sure to subscribe to the show on all the major podcast platforms. Here's your host, Rip Griffin.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of The Rip Griffin Show. Happy New Year for those that have not tuned into the show this year. It's exciting. We're doing things a little bit different this year and this season on The Rip Griffin Show. We're going to be covering a lot more minor league baseball, independent baseball, Texas Collegiate League, and whatnot. But what we got on tap tonight, which is a very exciting, and I'm very happy to have this guest because he's been doing a lot of things on social media and Twitter that has pertained to minor league baseball, but the history of the team and how everything kind of came about with hat history. And with National Hat Day coming up on January 15th, just right around the corner, perfect timing to have my guest tonight, Patrick Larson, on the show. Patrick, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Rip, I'm doing really, really well, and I'm honored to be your first guest of 2022, and thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. You know, I was been watching your videos that you've been doing, and it's very refreshing. It's very exciting that it's a different dynamic of minor league baseball in the terms of we know the history of the team. We know the teams are in the cities that they play in, but it's the hats. What makes the team? You've got the uniform, you've got the jersey, you've got the pants, but it's always the hats that kind of just rounds everything out as far as the ensemble, the internet of the uniform. And you've been, like I said, you've been doing these videos of various team history. Obviously, tonight there's a theme to tonight as well, is the Round Rock Express. And because I do a little bit of covering the team there in Round Rock, but let's kind of dive into, first of all, let's dive into National Hat history. I mean, National Hat Day, which is on January 15th. So, any big plans for it's a big day? Any big plans for you as far as any type of hat purchases that you may be coming along?
Yeah, so the thing about National Hat Day is that you're always looking for the deals, right? So I'm definitely going to be on Twitter and checking out, like, the Twitter account MiLB Promos is a really good one-stop shop for figuring out where all of the deals are, and that's for minor league baseball, for independent professional baseball, and for collegiate summer league. So any team that is doing that, I think he told me last year that there were like 124 deals. Don't hold me to that.
Oh, wow.
But I think last year there were, so many different deals at the very least, and it's kind of like a one-stop shop to kind of figure out what you're gonna find. So shout out to MiLB Promos for that, because that's a really, really big job. And as far as my plan, I want to see who's, first of all, having sales, and see if there's any teams that have any maybe new exclusive hats coming out. Like I've heard that the Dub C Fish Sticks up in Seattle, Washington may have a hat or two that are coming out on National Hat Day, but also who has the best deals. And I'm sure I'll make a few purchases on that day, because it's really important just to try to show that support for these teams that aren't major league teams. And it's really one of the only ways that they get to make money, beyond the ticket sales, and especially in the off season. This is the way that they are able to, create additional revenue. So it's supporting small businesses around, whether it's in the United States, Canada, wherever you're buying from, you're supporting a small business in that local area. So that's why it's important to me. And I think for anyone that is a hat collector, that it's a really big day because you can get some of those hats that you want, hopefully at a reduced price. And, and that's whether you like the on-field fitted hats like we're wearing, or dad hats, or trucker hats, or bucket hats, or whatever it might be. So it's not just the baseball hats, but it can be hats of all different styles for all different people.
Absolutely. I thought I was a pretty avid hat collector, but there have been some people that have blown me away with the pictures that they post on social media. I was like, hey, I got my hat rack full of, maybe 7, 8, maybe 10 hats on there. No, everybody has piles of hats stacked around everywhere. I was like, okay, I am behind on the game on that. So, definitely, I have to give a shout out real quick to the Daytona Tortugas. They reached out to me, and I've got a hat coming my way. So I'm excited for that to happen. It's my first other minor league team that's not in Texas, where I'm from. But you mentioned the fish sticks, and they just did a rebrand, didn't they? Just not too long ago.
Yeah, they sure did. They were originally known as the Highline Bears, and they teamed up. Their GM Justin Moser teamed up with Brandiose, which is one of the you know the design firms. They're located in San Diego, and they worked with them to develop two different identities actually that they put up for a fan vote online. So it was a choice between one, the Dub C fish sticks, and the Dub C seal slingers, and they put it up
Okay.
to a fan vote on social media, and it was a very, very close vote that I believe came down to the last day, and the Dub C fish sticks won by only a few votes, but they're having fun with it because Justin has said that they're going to have like a Seal Slingers cheer section for people that really loved the Seal Slingers logo and for a brand. So they're still honoring both logos, but the official name of the team is the Dub C Fish Sticks.
See, that's what I like about minor league baseball so much is the marketing aspect of it, because you don't get that at the major league level, because it's all about getting fans in the seats, and that's it. But you've got minor league parks that are, even though there was a competition for a team name that one beat out the other, but yet they're still going to recognize that other team name, that other name that just came in so close. And that's what just makes minor league baseball so refreshing, is there's a family atmosphere to it. There's things that to get the fans engaged, as far as contests between innings and whatnot. I noticed a lot of that when I was on the road covering the Express and the Sugarland Skeeters, is they get the fans involved, and that's something you don't see at the major league level. And I think that's where baseball needs to work on. And I don't have that on tap for tonight's show, but maybe we can get you back on. We'll talk about what Major League Baseball needs to do. But so let's jump into the videos real quick that you've been doing. You've been doing just very short clips on teams. You did one today actually on the Tennessee Smokies, which was great. Tell us, how did you get about doing these short videos, and how long did it take you to come up with that idea?
So I've only been doing like content creation in general for probably the last year or so. I do a lot of content creation for my favorite soccer or football team, depending on what you like to say, Chelsea, based out of England. And I started doing Twitter videos, like reviewing matches and previewing matches on a separate Twitter handle that I have devoted to Chelsea. And Chelsea tends to be one of my passions, but another passion of mine is like minor league baseball and also hat collecting. So I knew that I was getting really comfortable in front of the camera, because as I've done more of it, I've gained more confidence to put myself out there and kind of do these videos. And I have all these hats, especially like minor league hats specifically, where I'm like, I'd really like to do something with this and kind of talk about the teams, because it's not just that I love the hats. It's not just the collecting for the sake of it. I like the stories behind it, Rip, like you referenced earlier. Like, how did they come up with the name? And we have a lot of content creators like Paul Caputo and, Ed Rivera and the Dad Hat Chronicles, and James Christopher with Let's Get To, who's based out of Texas as well. And they help tell the stories behind these brands and help, and that's kind of what I'm interested in too. And I don't have the knowledge base that they have necessarily, but I do, before I do any video, I research and make sure that I kind of know the facts before I try to get on and tell everyone, even small little facts, because they're only 2-minute, 20-second videos at most.
Right.
So I just really wanted to get into doing some content creation with minor league baseball and to kind of get into the minor league baseball, indie pro, collegiate summer league community. And I've been blown away by how nice and welcoming people have been. And I know that the videos can always be improved, of course, and there's always ways to improve it, but people have been very patient and kind and have been very encouraging behind the videos. And really, it's just fun about the views or how many followers you get from it. It's about having fun talking about minor league baseball. And the best part of the comments, when people talk about, oh, I've been to that stadium, or that's my local team, or did you also know that they did this? So I also learn from the other people in the community. Like if I did one on the Express, I'm sure there's some things that you'll tell me that I don't know. And that's what it's all about, is sharing those stories and sharing your experiences. And I think the hats can sometimes do that because you get to see how brands have changed over time. Mm-hmm. You can see how maybe a logo, how it looked in a different era versus like the present day. So there's a lot of things that those hats can do, and they can kind of tell the story of how the team's gotten where they are now. And the Express are a good example of that.
Oh, for sure. That's a team that has been around for years, and they've gone through a couple as far as organizations that they are affiliated with. Most recently they were with the Astros, and now they're back with the Texas Rangers. So they've kind of flip-flopped back and forth, which is kind of funny how, you're like, well, they were part of the Astros, but now they're with the Rangers, but then they were with the Rangers. It's like, it's how it kind of stacks up is interesting.
Yeah, because I believe they went Astros, Rangers, Astros, Rangers. Isn't that right? Because I know that the team, I know that Round Rock came around in 2000, and they were because of Nolan Ryan and the Ryan Sanders group, and they were a AA franchise originally, and then that was, I believe, the former Jackson Generals came, and stuff I'm sure that your viewers may already even know. But then they moved. Then they became, in 2004, I think they switched to AAA because the Corpus Christi found out that they could host a team, and they thought that Round Rock could host AAA baseball. So it's been really kind of a neat thing to see how baseball, because obviously minor league baseball in Texas is just thriving. I mean, there are just so many, not just so many franchises, but so many good minor league baseball organizations there. I mean, Round Rock Express are a great example. You've got Corpus Christi, you've got Amarillo, you've got Frisco. I mean, you've got so many great teams out there that are really getting this right. I think they're really putting the fans first, and I think it's just fun for people, for some of your viewers that are out in Texas, or for fans that want to travel to Texas. I think there's a lot of great brands out there that are always evolving, and they're always thinking of the fan experience, beautiful ballparks. So really, like, the Dell Diamond being a great example of that. And honestly, I think it's phenomenal that, what you're doing, covering the Round Rock Express and the Sugarland Skeeters, another team, of course. And yeah, I just think I think my baseball in Texas is really, really thriving, and I think it's only going to get better.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. There's so many great teams, and I wish I had the capability to, well, I do have the capability, but I just don't. It's, you've got the El Paso Chihuahuas that are out there in West Texas, and, the Midland Rockhounds, which just did a complete rebrand as well. I love their new logo, by the way. What do you think about their new logo?
It's one of the best rebrands that's been done in the off season. I've always liked the Rockhounds logo, but when they talk and I personally never thought about a rebrand, but I know there are other people that thought it was time for one. And I was kind of adopting a wait and see approach about what might happen. But when I saw the results, I mean, they were phenomenal. Like the pickaxes that make the M for the on the new orange and blue hat that they have. So the new color scheme works really, really well. They updated the rock hound to really kind of move it into the 21st century. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's a clean look. And then they have the what is it, the helmet, and then the baseball that's dripping in oil.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's just, the design team that worked on that just did a phenomenal job, and they really deserve a lot of credit for breathing new life into that brand. And I think the people of Midland are really going to benefit from it.
Oh, absolutely. I hear that's a phenomenal ballpark there. I haven't had the opportunity to visit there yet, but I'm hoping, as this grows, and as I become more educated on minor league baseball, because I'll be honest, I kind of just got, and when I started covering the Express, that was my first time actually being in any sort of minor league atmosphere, and absolutely I love it, and
well, welcome to the family.
I
We're glad.
I
Actually,
appreciate it.
I see in the comments that the Dad Hat Chronicles are actually on. So Ed Rivera, big shout out to you. And he's a really, really great member of the community, and he's really, really a great example of people who are welcoming in the community and really bringing other people in. And he's interviewed so many really, really cool people, both in the community, but also people that are in the baseball world, from designers to members of teams. So check out the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast as well on Apple Podcast, and really anywhere you can get your podcast, because it's really, really awesome.
Absolutely. I've been kind of getting more into the minor league community. The Dad Hat Chronicles is one of the podcasts that I've picked up as well, that I've been listening to. Great insight, great information, great episodes. So definitely, congratulations. Have to get Dad Hat Chronicles on the show, actually. So open invite right now. Feel free to DM me. We'll schedule something. So but yeah, no, this is just, minor league baseball is like, yeah, I love it, honestly. If I could do a more traveling, and to be able to visit different places, I absolutely, actually, I want to try to get up to up there in Maine, and in Seattle and Florida, like the Daytona Tortugas. I want to go see them. But I mean, it's just baseball in general, just being able to take part in a game. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best thing that you like about minor league baseball?
What I like the most is that it's fan focused. It's affordable, fun family entertainment. You don't even have to like the game of baseball to go to a minor league baseball game and have fun. Because Rip, I believe you even referenced it earlier. There's like in-game entertainment. There's things in between innings. Most stadiums now have a kids zone. So, a kid doesn't even have to go to watch the game. It would be they can have like sack races, or racing racing like the mascot, like in the Gwinnett Stripers, it's Beat the Freeze. That's my local team in Georgia, is the Gwinnett Stripers. So they played off something in Beat the Fridge, actually, is the Atlanta Braves have a thing called Beat the Freeze, and it's a guy that runs, and they have fans that race him. Well, the AAA affiliate, Gwinnett Stripers, did Beat the Fridge, and it's a guy wearing a silver suit who's not exactly, how do I say this? He's not exactly the thinnest person in the world, but it's also very misleading, because he can beat pretty much anyone, because he is so fast. So it's a lot of fun, and it's won like some of the what they call MiLB awards for, like, best act. And so it's little things like that that are really, really important. And as you just put up, Ed talked about checking out the collegiate baseball leagues. Another good example of that is the Savannah Bananas.
Yes.
They are, in fact, I think their company is actually called Fan First Entertainment. And so, Jesse Cole, the owner of the Savannah Bananas, and Jared Orton, who's the president and GM of the Savannah Bananas, they're always coming up with new things and new innovative ideas that a lot of people are catching on to try to bring because Savannah is probably about 4 or 5 hours away from where I live, and it's when the former Savannah Sand Gnats left to move to Columbia to become the Columbia Fireflies, people were wondering, are you going to have baseball in Savannah? And Jesse Cole came over from Gastonia, North Carolina, where he had owned the Gastonia Grizzlies at the time, and he had this idea for the Savannah Bananas, and he worked with Dan Simon from Studio Simon to get this logo, and people were kind of like at first like, what? Like
Yeah.
people were like, the name Savannah Bananas, what's that? And they have yet to not sell out a game.
That's amazing.
Because he's made it, not just him, but his team has made it all about the fans. And it's all about, they have rules like instead of baseball, it's banana ball. So the rules are a little bit different, but now they're taking it on a world tour. They're going to different places. I believe they're going to Kansas City to take on the Kansas City Monarchs. And they're going to like other parts of Georgia outside of Savannah. And they're going to Daytona actually to play at Jackie Robinson Stadium. So, it's those kind of things that so many other teams are starting to replicate and do so well. The Macon Bacon are another example, the rivals of the Savannah Bananas, and the Dub C Fish Sticks, as we referenced earlier, are doing it. And really, it's going, independent professionals doing it. The collegiate summer league's doing it, and minor league baseball is doing it. And that's what sets it apart from Major League Baseball, is that number one, it's affordable because you don't have to drop $200-$300 to take a family to a game. You don't have to pay necessarily $20-$30 for parking. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about $15 beers if that's your thing. But you can go instead. You can get a $10 ticket, or depending on where you want to sit, maybe you want to sit behind home plate, $15, and you get you can get an affordable beer especially on like beer nights, like a Thirsty Thursday, or $3, $5 Tuesday, $3 Tuesday, whatever it might be. And it's all about having fun with the people that are around you. You get to actually. Ed always says when you go into a game that you can just forget about. I agree with him. You can just forget about all that's going on. It's kind of like for that 3 hours, you can just, put away all your worries, and you can just focus on the entertainment. And like I said, that was actually a quote from Ed Rivera from Dad Hat Chronicles. Not for me, but I agree with him on that. So it's just, there's something different about it. And I like that it's focused on the fans and not about, I feel like you're a name and not just a number.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that you see that by covering the Express. It's really, really just a fun and novel thing.
It really is, and Ed brought up, the collegiate baseball leagues. So here in my hometown, we have the Victoria Generals, which are a part of the Texas Collegiate League, the TCL. So and actually, which was kind of funny. We were kind of talking before the show started about the Round Rock Harrymen, and since the Round Rock Harrymen were actually part of the TCL in 2020 because they weren't able to because of COVID. So they kind of just formed this team up because there was no minor league baseball. And they still wanted to have a baseball in Round Rock. So they came up with the Round Rock Harrymen. And of course, they've kind of, they didn't play last year in the TCL, but they have been around for, forever. And the history of that is pretty amazing as well. But yeah, they're the Victoria Generals, the team that's in my hometown, and the Round Rock Harrymen both played it at the same time in 2020. So
yeah,
that was pretty cool. And then you've got the San Antonio, the Flying Chunkless. That's another TCL team as well. So a lot of great things that have kind of spun up over the years, and it's exciting to
And
So
didn't Amarillo put in like 2 teams in the TCL as well in 2020?
they did. The Sod Squad
Sod Squad,
was,
that's what it was.
yeah. And then of course there's a couple other teams as well. There's a couple
Sure,
in Louisiana.
sure.
Uh, but yeah, those teams kind of sprouted up. I saw the Sod Squad and the Generals play last summer. You would think in my hometown, I should probably get out there more. That's my fault there. Yeah,
Listen, it's life. Life happens, but the fact is you got out. The fact is that you did get out there. So, you know, I think you should give yourself credit that, whether you go out once a season or multiple times a season, if you're going out at all, you're showing that support, and you're not,
absolutely.
and it's not just word of mouth. Through your actions, you're showing that, hey, baseball matters to me, and baseball matters in my community, and it's when you do that, you're helping your local economy as well. I firmly believe that, because whether you're buying hats or tickets or going to the game, you're demonstrating support that matters to you in your community. So that's why I think it's so important for people to go to games, and why those places that really show that support, it can make for a very special atmosphere as well.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. You can't get enough of minor league baseball, collegiate league, independent baseball, and they're also active on social media as well, which is great to see, because none of the major league teams, they won't really respond to you unless it's something that pertains to the fan experience. If you go to a game and you weren't really happy, they'll respond to you or whatnot. But these other teams, like the one that's pretty active is the Clearborn Railroaders. Um, they're very active on social media as well, and just like a lot of other minor league teams as well. But that's exciting too, because you get, like
It
you
is.
mentioned, you get to interact with those. So a hat question here: how many hats do you own? Do you have all minor league teams?
I do have all the minor league teams, and I probably have multiple ones of all minor league teams too. I can't think of a team. The only team where I would have only had one would have been, because I have actually, of the original 160, I have one of at least every one. So
Okay.
I think the former Princeton Rays, who are now the Princeton Whistle Pigs, I probably had only one of the Princeton Rays identity, because they only had one hat. So so oh, ballpark, I have over 1,000. I can say that.
Wow. Okay.
And
You
so,
you beat me. So
well, it's some would say it's probably more of an obsession than a collection, but it's a lot of fun, and it's it's my own little small way of trying to support them. So a lot of
right.
other people have done big road trips to go see teams, which I hope to do in the future, and I'm kind of focusing on the Southeast maybe for the 2022 season, but some people have really made the road trips to go out and see things. So
Yes.
I haven't been able to do that. My small way is just to buy hats, especially when there's sales. But I also am impatient. So if there's a new hat that's out there that I really like the Copa de la Diversión hats,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of those, and anything with color. So if it's out there and it's available, I'm afraid that it's going to sell out. So I try to grab it.
No, I completely, understand 100%. So, since we kind of been, the theme is the Round Rock Express. Did you see? I'm trying to look it up here. In they're in Austin at one point in time back in, gosh, what it was? I'll have to remember when it was, but there was a Negro team called the.
The Austin Black Senators, right? So
Yes, yes.
yeah, in fact, I actually have that hat with me. The Austin.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the it's not one from back then, obviously, but this is one that the Round Rock Express put out as
Mhm.
a throwback, a recreation of a throwback of the Austin Black Senators. And
Yes,
so, yeah,
yeah, because
so, and I believe there's another one too. I don't. This may have been actually the Austin Senators and not the Negro League team, but this is the um, a
okay.
former Austin hat as well, known as the Austin Senators.
Yes.
So that's just an example. And anyways, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your question, but
No, no, I was, um I wasn't sure if you had seen it yet, but yeah, they were the Austin Black Senators.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out when that was. I'll find that off
Yeah.
air. But
Yeah, I don't
uh,
remember what year that was, but I remember that, they did have that, and it was really,
mhm,
I love that the Round Rock Express are paying, like, are paying tribute to that now, and,
right,
uh, that a lot of teams are bringing up, like, I would love to go visit the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas
yes,
City, and there's such a rich history because that league gave us so many phenomenal baseball players, from Jackie Robinson to Satchel Paige, and so I mean, it's a part of baseball history that I think doesn't get the credit that it deserves, because just because these guys were in a different league, the level of play to me was no less, because and there's far more people that can be far more educated on this than I am. But just my personal opinion is that we lost out on probably some special players that maybe didn't get as much recognition, shall we say, as they maybe would have otherwise if they had been in in Major League Baseball at the same time.
right,
But I think as we go through and we see some of these, Buck O'Neill is another good example. Just getting in, just elected into voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, where he should have been a long time ago.
absolutely,
So it's players like that that I'm glad are starting to get some recognition, albeit later than they should have, but I'm glad to see it happen rather than it never happened.
absolutely. I'm glad Major League Baseball finally acknowledged their accomplishments because they needed to be out there. They need to be put in the stat books along with the other players that have played Major League Baseball because they deserved it. So I'm truly happy that they are actually uh, getting all that recognition, like I mentioned. So,
Yep.
but real quick, we'll kind of wrap up the show here. I've got a couple trivia questions for you, real quick. They're baseball trivia questions. They're not
All right.
to me. I There's a couple of things that I thought they were kind of silly, but I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of a head scratcher. So,
Okay.
the first one, real quick, true or false? MLB umpires are required to wear black underwear in case they split their pants.
Hmm. I'm going to go with true.
You are correct. Yes. Don't know if it's happened before in baseball, but I can see that happening. So yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely don't want anybody to see anything. So
And I don't know if this is why, but I mean, obviously with the cameras and TV cameras out there and everything, they don't want to draw attention away from probably the game. So I don't know if that would have anything to do with it, to try to, obviously also save embarrassment from whomever it might happen to, but also to not take away from the game itself. I don't know if that's why, but it may be, it certainly is a good idea to try to help, keep things moving.
absolutely. So second one, true or false? Though it is called America's pastime, the game of baseball actually originated in the Dominican Republic.
I'm going to go with true.
You are true. You are correct. Yes. Okay. So we'll do one more here. Okay. In baseball, how many innings was the longest game in history of the major league?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I know it was 20 plus innings.
Yes, you're
So
close.
I'm going to go for 22 innings.
Close. 26.
Ah, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
26. I believe the second longest was 18, and that was the NLCS in 2005, 4 or 5.
Something along those lines. I think I remember
Yeah.
that. Does it say who played in the 26 inning game?
No, let me see if I can look it up real quick here.
I mean, I was just curious because I knew it was 20 plus innings, but I didn't know how long it actually went. But I know I hope that people got a lot of food during that game, because that is a whew,
Yeah, that was, let me see. This might have actually changed. So it was May 1st, 1920. It was
okay.
the Brooklyn Robins versus the Boston Braves. Length was
Oh, cool.
26 innings. Yeah. So actually, the game ended in a tie, 1-1.
Okay.
So they,
That's a cool stat. I always learn there's so much more I don't know than what I know. So it's really good to it's really, really good to learn something like that. Well, I'm gonna have to ask I'm gonna have to ask my dad that one before he sees this.
And
See
then
if he knows.
the second longest there was a tie. It's 25 innings. It was May 1984 between the Chicago White Sox and Milwaukee Brewers.
Mhm.
And September 11th, 1974, the St. Louis Cardinals versus the New York Mets. That one was 25 innings as well at Shea
Okay,
Stadium.
wow.
So just a little fun, just to kind of end the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
I got these as a gift. I've been wanting to do some trivia, so I appreciate you kind of playing along just for a little bit to kind of wrap up the show. I appreciate
Of
it.
course, yeah.
So, but that's pretty much what I got for you. I mean, I appreciate you coming on, Patrick, talking about minor league baseball history, hat history. What you've been doing is truly phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to watching more videos that you've been putting out with various different teams and all minor league teams. You know, we got to include everybody. But
Yep.
so, Patrick, please let everybody know where they can follow you and where they can find your streams that you've been doing.
Sure. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is at PatLarson1. That's PATLARSON and the number 1. And I do little 2-minute plus videos on minor league baseball hat history. And, you may see the one I'm wearing or this one or the old Express logo, or there's the old RR with, Round Rock with the stars in it. So I usually like to show all the hats that I have for whatever the team is that I'm talking about that day, and hopefully sharing a little bit about how they got to be where they are, all within about a 2-minute to 2-minute 20-second video. So I'd love it if you check it out. And Rip, I just want to say thank you to you as well for the honor of being to gain to be your first guest of 2022. And I'll look forward to watching even more episodes throughout the year. And let me know how I can support you. And again, just an honor to be on, and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. Like you mentioned, you are the first guest of 2022. So I appreciate you taking the time, sharing what you've been doing as far as promoting minor league baseball. That's the other key big aspect is we've been talking about it, but you've been promoting it as well, interacting with a lot of the fans of minor league baseball and the teams and organizations and supporting them, which is great to hear. So truly appreciate you taking the time, and definitely, if you have any questions, or you're welcome to come back anytime. Let me know, and we will set up something for sure. So,
Well, anytime you want me back, I'd love to be on.
absolutely. So that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Remember, you can follow the show on Twitter. It's at Rip Griffin Show. If you ever have any baseball questions, you can call into the show. That number is 210-263-3253. And remember, the show is part of the Podcast City Network. Head on over to podcastcity.net and check out all the amazing podcasts over there. So that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Take care.